Miami fans, I'm Cameron Dobbs. Welcome to Canes All Access. This is a show all about taking you to the human behind the Hurricanes jersey. Today we're joined by two athletes from our women's volleyball program and our football program. Now first, I am joined by Michael Redding III from Canes football, wide receiver on the team. Michael, welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, we are so excited to have you. And my goodness, have you had a busy summer looking back? You had the Black Student Athlete Alliance trip to Washington, D.C., Student Athlete Leadership Forum, focusing on your master's program, and of course, all the training with Canes football. How was it all?
So it's, I don't know, just very, very busy, right? Just kind of hopping on flights, going here, going there, and then coming back, doing like workouts and stuff. So I'll say just like very, very busy, kind of back to back. Like I remember like graduating and going straight into just a full week of things and then going like straight to class. So everything was just happening like so fast.
It seemed like every flight you were never flying back to Miami, but to your next thing. I know you came straight from one conference straight into DC, all over the place this summer.
I think I went from Miami to Jacksonville to DC, and then finally I was able to come back home. And then already a week past like my like graduation class or graduate class. So it's like I said, it was interesting. Like boom, 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 and then straight to class. So like that, just busy doing things on the move. So.
Well, we love to see it, and I know a lot of those things for you were really big, powerful things. So talk to us a little bit how you've been impacted this past summer.
So first, I think the very first thing was taking a trip to Baltimore for the Leadership Forum. I think that was really, really big for me. It was very like transformational, especially being with all types of athletes. Because at the forum there was Division I, Division II, Division III, NIAI, all types of athletes, and we all were very like-minded. Right, and being able to, even though we was there for like Leadership Forum, but it was just great to connect with those athletes and be able to kind of take things from them as well in their life and how they view leadership and everything along those lines. So that was like a really, really great like experience for me. And then also going to ACC meeting, that was a very different experience for me because we're up there with the big dogs, right? We with the ADs, the SWAs, school designees, the FARs, and just having the opportunity to talk to them, right? Being on that stage and being able to connect with those type of people, and that was another like great experience because they was telling us how important our like say is, and just kind of connecting those two, just we're going in the right place, especially with student athlete like leadership, and then also having ADs and people along those lines kind of appreciate our opinion, what we kind of bring to the table. So it's been a lot this summer.
You've had a lot of opportunities at Miami throughout all of your years, but especially this past summer and past year, that have really just grown you as a person and impacted you personally. And one of those is having meetings that have actually shaped your future career, now pursuing a degree in counseling. Talk to us a little bit about the choice behind that degree.
So it's very interesting. So I remember back, this is even further back. I think this was probably like May 2022. I went to Black Student Athlete Summit, and I always had interest, in psychology, and just like a little interest. But I think once I went to that summit, and I realized the need for kind of like a sports psychologist, African American sports psychologist, and how important that it is to have like representation, because at that conference, we had like a separate meeting and we talked about like mental health and how important that was. And these athletes, they did not feel comfortable kind of going to their like specific sports psychologist because they didn't like look like them, and they kind of couldn't connect with them because they didn't have like the same experiences, right? Or kind of the like similar cultures. So for me, like seeing that and hearing that and knowing that I'm interested in psychology, it kind of fueled my passion. There's a need now. I feel valued now. I feel like I could bring value in that area. So that's what kind of led me to say, like, I want to go into mental health counseling because I want to be that person, because, it made me feel valued.
And you're already bringing value to that area. I know
course.
everything that you're doing, from hosting conversations with practitioners across campus to also doing what you're doing with those ACC meetings. You told me that you even pitched a proposal about mental health at this meeting. What did that proposal entail?
So really, it was 3 things, right? So one thing that we focused on was kind of the structural part. So for like every like 500 student athletes, like each school has, we wanted to have like a sports psychologist, and for like every 250 student athletes the school had, we want to have like one licensed mental health counselor for that. Then for the second structure is more mental health training for like each of the coaches, and the last one was just kind of more resources like for like mental health. So we was just presenting those 3 things and kind of putting those things out there. And one thing about it, the ACC did a great job of telling us like, hey, like we need to be more ambitious, right? They really like supported our idea, so kind of got to go back, kind of talk about it, like rediscuss like a few things. But yeah, like it was a great proposal. Like they really liked it. They wanted us to be more ambitious about it. If that's something that the student athletes want, they really like wanted to support it. So like we was very thankful, and we were glad that we had that opportunity to do that. So.
Well, Mike, you're definitely being an example and a representative in this space. So I want to ask you, though, who are you looking up to? Do you have an athlete or someone that's a role model in your life that you're looking, especially in this athletics and mental health space?
And man.
Or are you gonna be the one?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking right now. I don't know no specific athlete. Like right now, I can name like a few athletes that have came out. I remember watching like this documentary. I think Hayden Hurst, a tight end that used to play for the Baltimore Ravens. He used to play baseball before then, but he got the jitteries. It really like affected him, and he was like facing some things like with anxiety and depression and things like that. But he was able to come out of it. Now he's a NFL player, right? I know athletes that speak about their mental health, but there's not necessarily an athlete that I actually look up to. So I just want to be the person that helps those athletes, if that makes sense. So I'll probably be the person that they look up to. How about that?
That's incredible. I love to hear it, for sure. So what is the change? You mentioned the resources, making sure every school might have a sports psychologist in their program. What's the change overall that you want to make with the narrative around mental health and athletics?
Just talk about it, right? It's very important that we talk about it. We make it where athletes feel more comfortable talking about their mental health, as like athletes talking about like kind of like their physical injuries, right? Like that's a lot easier for us to talk about because we can physically kind of see it, right? We could easily like talk about, oh, like how's your recovery going, because somebody may have a knee brace on, right? But it's hard for us to talk about kind of like depression and anxiety because it's not necessarily something that we see on the physical person. So kind of being able to create a space where athletes can talk about their mental health and make them feel okay talking about their mental health. And I think that way athletes are more comfortable coming out, like getting help and kind of being able to use those resources because there's no stigma behind it, and they're more comfortable with just the word mental health. So kind of just create that change, make people feel comfortable talking about their mental health.
Amazing, Mike. Thank you so much for all the work that you do, and also thank you for hopping on our show today.
Of course.
Hurricane fans, coming up next, we have another athlete who is on that same BSAA trip to DC, Janice Leao with Canes Volleyball. Janice Leao, middle blocker for Canes Volleyball. Welcome to Canes All Access.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my goodness, we're so excited. And you've had an exciting summer yourself. My goodness. I mean, from leadership opportunities to, of course, training for Canes Volleyball. And maybe most notably or most exciting to see that you trained actually with the 2023 Women's Collegiate National Team. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Okay, walk us through it. First, I got to ask, you're getting off the plane, Anaheim, California. Did you fly into LAX?
No, I flew into Orange County.
Okay, because if you flew into LAX, I would have had Miley Cyrus partying the USA.
I
You're
know.
on the USA team, like hopped off the plane in LAX with my dream playing with USA and your Canes cardigan, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, walk us through. What was that experience like? Talk to us a little bit about a day by day with the USA team.
Mm-hmm. So it was a week long, which was amazing. I honestly wish it was, longer because the experience I had was just amazing. I went last year too, but honestly, this year was just top tier, like the best year I ever had. So it was 20 girls, literally picked from everywhere, throughout the country, like top-notch schools, Power 5, like all that. It was like being in that environment it was so grateful. I was so grateful, and it was just like a different experience that I loved. So pretty much, I got there on Sunday, just, team meeting, all that jazz. And then we started training on Monday. And when I tell you, I thought I was ready, because I went the year before. But it was 3 hours long. We got to watch the U.S. team play. And that was just crazy because, seeing all those girls growing up right in front of you, that was just like a crazy experience. And I just loved that. Like, I was starstruck because I saw everybody. I saw like Haley Washington, Jordan Larson. So that was pretty fun. And so we had the 3 hour-long practice like all week. And then we had some like individual positional type work in the morning, which was honestly like really knowledgeable because it was just like on my position, just really specific. And then throughout the week, we had meetings. We met with their nutritionist. We met with their motivational speaker, which she was phenomenal. Like, oh my gosh, she made me realize so much about myself. And just that 1 hour that she spoke to us, it was really great. With their nutritionist, we just talked about how to like fuel during that week, because obviously, we had the 3 hour long practice, how to fuel during that. And it was just honestly I didn't want to leave at the end of it. Like, it was just so great because afterwards we got to hang out as a team, and it was all of us. We hung out in like the hotel rooms. We would go get dinner, and Saturday it was time for me to come back, and I just did not want to come back, like, at all. It was so much fun.
You talked about being starstruck by some of the players, the moments, being able to actually be with the national team. Even though you were the collegiate national team, you were still looking up to those older girls. Yeah. Was there ever a specific moment where it was just like a pinch me type of moment? Like, I cannot believe I am here with this USA team right now?
Yes. So I literally grew up watching this woman. Like, she was my idol. It was Jordan Larson. And I loved it because the photographer literally captured a moment where I was just like, just like covering my mouth, and it was just awesome. Like, I met her, hugged her. She was super nice. All the women there were just super nice, coaches down to players, down to my teammates. So it was just, that was just such a good moment. Like, and it's just like replaying in my mind, just like the moment I met her. But she's super sweet. I love her.
Amazing. I remember growing up and watching her too, so I cannot believe how to experience that moment and what it would have been for you. But I know between the motivational talks, the nutrition, the training itself that you had, I'm sure you're consuming a lot of things. So what's something that now you're taking back here to South Florida, to your Miami volleyball team?
Yeah. So when we met with their motivational speaker, she made me realize that every day, you have something to show your gratitude towards. So we did this exercise, and it was pretty much just showing, like, it's not all about you. You're not just playing for yourself. You're playing for other people who push you to where you are now. So she did this exercise, and I was just like, wow, like, I have to give gratitude to people who I'm, like, most, who I adore the most, who have supported me throughout, like, this whole journey. So that was really, really eye-opening, and I just, like, every day I just have to show gratitude, and I feel like I have to bring that here, especially since it's my last year. So just, like, having gratitude that I can play the sport that I love with the people that I love most, and just being around, like, a supportive group, like, showing gratitude to my coaches, my teammates, because, like, they're where I am. Like, they're the reason, like, I'm here, so. And obviously, like, the volleyball side, it was just getting that knowledge from just top-notch. Obviously, like, you're playing with, like, amazing girls who are from amazing programs, and having coach from, like, Power 5 schools, just, like, bringing their knowledge there. It just, like, made me realize the potential I have to be, like where they are now, like, where the national team is, like, Olympians, 2-time Olympians. Like, I can be there with, like, the knowledge that they gave me.
How do you think Miami volleyball has prepared you to step into those shoes as a USA player this year?
Honestly, a lot, because when I first got here, like, you saw, like, we played together, so you saw me, freshman. I didn't really think that I could get anywhere towards, like, playing in that gym. I just thought I was just going to play, just be open to it. But honestly, I could not even imagine like my freshman year to like now, and I can really thank Miami Volleyball because they shaped me to the player that I am now. You know, like those hard times in the gym, my coaches have been there for me and my teammates, so I can only like thank Miami Volleyball so much. But yeah, I'm here because of them, really, like in this position.
I love it. And I know your future is certainly bright, but there's also purpose in the present. And so you're excited to be now going into volleyball season with Canes Volleyball, ramping up practices on the court. And you guys have a little bit of unfinished business. You know, you had a season of success, top 10 win against Georgia Tech, a lot of accolades for your teammates, appearance in the NCAA tournament, but I know you're still hungry for more. Yeah. So what's the mindset going into this next season for you guys?
Pretty much just like we're here to win it all, you know? I don't think that's really far from like our reach. We've done it before. We had those spurts during season where we felt it. So just like having that feeling, we're like, okay, like we need more. Like we need to go past where we were last year, you know, going all the way to the ACC, pretty much being like ACC champs and just going farther in the NCAA tournament, you know. We have the same team pretty much. So having those tools and having that talent back in the gym and like adding even more with our freshmen, we're just all in, you know, like going farther than how we did last year.
All in, and it's already here. I mean, you're training now, getting back on the court. You got ACC play starting in late September. Janice, thanks so much for hopping on to Canes All Access. We are so honored to have you. And Miami fans, thank you for tuning in. Till next time, as always, go Canes.